the Betty Ford Center Children's Program, the first thing we do is teach boys and girls about alcoholism and drug addiction in a way that they can understand. So many boys and girls are confused, they're scared, many feel guilty and ashamed, lonely, sad, hurt. And for many, no one has taken the time to really explain this. The key, though, on that first day is helping the children separate the person they love, whether it's a mom or a dad or an older brother or sister, from the disease that consumes them. We want to separate those two. And so then boys and girls can talk about what the disease has done to everybody in the family, because it's a family disease. One of the most important activities that takes place early on in the first day of the children's program is the bag of rocks. And what happens is every boy or girl has an opportunity to pick up a bag that weighs 41 pounds. It's a backpack filled with rocks. Now, some of the older boys and girls can just lift it up pretty easily. But some of those 7-year-olds, and we've had kids in the children's program, the bag weighs more than they do. But you think they're going to be denied an opportunity? I don't think so. They'll drag that bag across the room. They'll do whatever they need to. And what we explain to them on the first day is that their moms and dads have been carrying around a bag like that on the inside. Boys and girls then can draw pictures of how addiction has hurt their families. And many boys and girls, for the very first time, understand that it's not their fault. That boys and girls don't make parents or older brothers and sisters drink or use drugs, and they can't make them stop. They simply, despite all their efforts, they can't make it better. That's not a kid's job, even though they'd really like to be able to do that. We also help boys and girls understand the concepts that we call treatment and recovery, TNR, superheroes, arch nemesis of addiction. And that moms and dads and older brothers and sisters go and they go to TNR, they go to treatment, and they hang out with recovery. And it's almost as if it's a safety shield and addiction can't get them. A 10-year-old girl said it best in the children's program one time. She says, I think I understand it. I think what you really mean, treatment and recovery is like base in the game of tag. Because when you're on base, nobody can mess with you, no one can bother you. You can simply be yourself. And so helping boys and girls to understand addiction, to give them information and an opportunity to begin to talk what it's like for them. Because we're talking about more than 1 out of every 4 children in the United States loves someone in their family that has addiction. And yet ironically, 1 in 4, and yet ironically, so many boys and girls think they're the only one. That's day 1 of the children's program. On the second day of the children's program, and I believe what really makes the program work are 2 things. Number 1, it's an all-day long process. So you really get to know the boys and girls when you play games with them, be in group with them, when you teach them, when you eat with them, when you recreate with them, even when you jump in the pool with them. You really get a window into what's going on in their lives. And we build a relationship built on trust and respect and caring and kindness. And on that second day, boys and girls gradually begin to open up more. They talk about what's going on in their families. Some do it through their artwork, others do it through writing, others express themselves verbally, still others express themselves through all the role play activities that we do. But for the first time, boys and girls are sharing their sadness, their hurt, their anger, their upset. And the magic is being in a group with other boys and girls who have gone through the very same thing. It normalizes the experience, and boys and girls now get to see that they're not alone and that there are safe people and safe places that can help them. On the third day of the children's program, what happens now is that a parent or a grandparent, or if it is a young person in our young adult track, will participate with boys and girls in the program. It was Mrs. Ford herself, it was Betty Ford who said, if you really want to make a difference in a child's life, just don't help the child, but help who is ever raising that child. Give them more skills, give them more tools. Now, in the children's part of the program, this third day we focus on self-care. We focus on ways for them to care about themselves, to stay safe, and to also think about who some of the safe people are in their lives that they can turn to for support and guidance when they're really hurt, when they're frightened, when they need to be comforted. Who can they go to? Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's mom or dad, or an aunt, or a grandparent. At school, maybe it's a teacher, or a school counselor, or a coach. In their neighborhood, maybe it's somebody that lives next door or just down the street. But helping children know that there are safe people and safe places that can help them, and they no longer have to deal with this all by themselves. This is also the day when children in the program get an opportunity to talk about how addiction has hurt the whole family. Because addiction is a family disease. Everybody in the family gets hurt in different ways, but everybody gets hurt. Everybody's been taken hostage. Everybody gets trapped by this insidious illness. And part of the healing process is telling the truth and finding a voice and sharing what it's been like for the children. An incredible healing process, not only for the boys and girls, but for the grown-ups who participate as well. And on the third day in the children's program, boys and girls have an opportunity to symbolically let some of the rocks out of the bag by reading a story to their loved ones about, here's what addiction has done to my family. So they're able to talk about their hurt or their sadness or their guilt or their shame or their confusion. But they're also able to talk about their joy. Joy especially for those boys and girls who were blessed to have a loved one who was actually getting better, whether directly here at the Betty Ford Center or in a 12-step program or in another treatment center somewhere else across the United States, and then come to our children's program. On that last day, we work on celebrating all of our beauty and goodness, not just celebrating the child's beauty and goodness, but that of the other family members and the family in toto. Now, we're talking about a strength-based process in helping children build skills and tools so they can be resilient no matter what life challenges and hardship and adversity they may encounter as they grow older. And it's also a time when we make a continuing care plan. So every family sits at a table and gets a huge, big piece of paper, and they make a plan. So how's everybody in this family going to care for themselves and stay safe? What are we going to do for our own TNR, our own treatment and recovery? So they make plans to take home. Every boy or girl leaves with our 800 number, our email addresses. We'll mail stuff to them periodically. We want to continue that relationship, but also want to help boys and girls think about who the safe people are in their own community when they go back home. We end the program right before our graduation ceremony, which is a really big deal. We end the program, though, where boys and girls and the grown-ups who brought them get to exchange what I like and love about you cards. We get to talk about all the good stuff, because what I know to be true, and we see this every day in the children's program, take the disease away and all the beauty and goodness people have really begins to shine through in a consistent way. So learning about the disease, having an opportunity to talk about it, to share feelings, to let out worries and concerns, developing self-care and coping strategies, ways to stay safe, the safe people in your life, celebrating our goodness, our beauty, our gifts, coming up with a continuing care plan, and on top of it all, just having fun and allowing these children to be little boys and little girls, because that's what they truly are. Let them be kids and let them celebrate being kids. That's the essence of what we do in the Betty Ford Center Children's Program.